What's up guys, it's Chrono here again in Path of Exile, and this time I'm going to be showcasing another one of those builds that I thoroughly enjoy playing. Now this one I've died many more times on, because the basis of this build is for you to pretty much kill yourself and trigger cast when damage taken gems to basically just spit out spells all over the place and use that spell damage to try and leech it back to you to keep you alive. So pretty much you using abilities will kill you, having enemies around will heal you. So I'm just gonna jump straight into a thing. I may as well go, yeah, let's do Esh. Now, last time I believe I had some trouble with Esh because the damage that he did was low. Too low to consistently trigger one of the passive ascendancies that basically give you all that massive life leech back. But I've since changed the build around and now I should be able to handle it. Here's hoping. I'll go over the build in more detail later once I'm finished. As you can see, I'm almost dead already because I accidentally clicked one of my abilities when there wasn't any enemies around. Yeah, that'll murder you. Basically, whatever your mana cost is, multiply it by 4, and that's how much damage you're going to deal to yourself. It's crazy. So it uses Scold's Bridle and several gems called Fevered Mind, which increases the mana cost of your abilities. As well as I'm using a Hiltless, which is a two-handed sword that also deals damage to yourself. And I'm going down the left side of the Marauder tree with a little bit onto the far right side for some other things, but mainly so I can use Iron Will, get a whole bunch of strength buildup, and use that to augment all of this crazy crap going on screen right now. Ooh, you gotta be careful. If you don't kill yourself, there is a chance if the damage is low enough that you're taking that it doesn't trigger your cast when damage, then you actually won't leech enough back. Oh god! That was close! That was pretty close. Whew. You won't leech enough back to actually keep you alive. But it's just so fun to jump into something and just spin all over the place, have crap flying everywhere, and just leech it all back. Oh god, where do I go? Ah! Some of these maps confuse the crap out of me because I haven't actually run them that many times. So I'm not like a breach farmer or anything. This is still kind of new content for me. Which makes this even more fun for me because this is the type of... I'm a pretty casual player. And this is the type of content that I wouldn't expect to be able to do like this. I figure I'd need to have some kind of crazy build. Well, this is a crazy build, but just something that would help carry me from being just mechanically inept, I guess. Because most of the time, you know, it's all around big dodges, knowing what attacks you can and can't take, and I'm just like, man, whatever, I'll just run into everything and hopefully not die. That's the type of person I am. And yeah, this so far has done both of those things though. It has gotten me killed by doing that, and it saved me by doing that. So, yeah. If that's the type of person you are and you like seeing just this type of weird crap going off constantly, then hey, you might actually like this build. Kill this guy. Oh. Woo. Woo. Very close. Alright, let's see if we can actually take on... See, this is where I was having the issues. Because you don't get to hit multiple targets, and multiple targets would help drain and recover your... like, deal damage, pop the skills, regen back. Whereas when you're fighting just a boss, it's a little bit of a different story. So hopefully... you know, I'm going to pop a portal just in case. I might die. I'm actually expecting to die, so yeah, whatever, let's go in. Alright, 3, 2, 1, let's go! Oh my god! Where is he? Where is he? Yeah, he teleports around, which is really bad. I'm actually gonna try and pop this breach inside here so I can get some mobs. See, he teleports and I don't know where he is. And if I can't hit stuff and I'm spamming my skill, I'm gonna die. Oh god! No! See? Shit! He teleported, I used Cyclone twice, and I killed myself. Here, I'll show you. That's what happens when you use Cyclone. In your base. You pretty much murder yourself. It's horrible. Oh, shit. I was kind of hoping to go Deathless, but... damn. Well, he's pretty close to dead. We'll be able to hop right back in and get him. Let's go. Come on, Ash, you douchebag. There we go. What'd I get from him? Oh, his shield. No blessing, whatever, that's poop. Alright, so I'll go over the build a little bit here. So the main thing that I was talking about was the Hiltless. So the Hiltless deals 100 physical damage back to you whenever you hit an enemy. So this is why it's really, really good in packs when you just run straight into a giant group of enemies and you just start spinning. You'll deal these like little ticks of damage back to you, which is one way you can play this build. There's two methods. One is just with Hiltless, relying on that physical damage, and the other one is using Scold's Bridle here, which, as you can see at the bottom, your skills deal 400% of mana cost as physical damage. Now, it also gives you that bonus spell damage, which is really, really nice. Everything else about this is actually crap. Like, the cast speed, everything else doesn't matter because you're on a cast when damage taken, but you get almost 100% more spell damage, and it's that really critical 400% mana cost. Now, what you want to do is combine that. If you want to use that helmet, you have to use these jewels. Fevered Mind. 4 of these jewels combined with that helmet and a 4-link Cyclone will give you roughly 1,000 damage dealt back to you. And then on top of that, you also have that little bit of Hiltless damage just to make sure that you're always crossing a threshold for the Ascendancy here, Cloaked in Savagery. This is a make or break part of this build. This is kind of difficult to level because you kind of need this in order to defeat bosses. So 100% of damage leeches life if you've taken a savage hit recently. So if you take 15% of your max life, you will gain this, I guess, Ascendancy thing here, where you'll recover 100% of damage leeches life. You'll also deal 50% more damage, and you'll have 25% increased attack speed, which is very, very nice. Now, normally you'd go when you'd level, and you'd go to Aspect of Carnage first, but I found that this is really, really necessary for even going through and defeating Azaro. I needed to have Cloaked in Savagery. So that's just one of those little things to throw into the video here, just to make sure you know what you're getting yourself into. Now, I'm also doing some of this stuff really underleveled. I was starting to do breaches mid-70, like level 70s, and you shouldn't do that. I only have 5.3k health. You'll want more than that as well, but I felt that it worked. Like, I died once here, okay, sure, whatever, but it still works fine. So that in combination with Val Pact here. So when you start your tree, the build that I kind of followed at the beginning of leveling this character goes straight out this way, up and to where this blast radius is, all the way up through here, and gets a bunch of nodes here. And I didn't really like how they went through all this. They get a lot of health, like they get melding, they get heart and soul, but I much prefer the strength side of the tree, so I went with this route instead. You get almost the same amount of health with all of like the barbarism nodes, devotion nodes. Once I finish this, you still get all of this. You get the discipline and training nodes up here as well. So you still get a lot of health. You still get this area stuff, and you get a bunch of bonus elemental stuff. So you get spell damage and elemental damage while you go through this side of the tree right up here. And it opens up the possibility of using Iron Will, which gives you a lot of extra spell damage based on your strength. Now, since pretty much every node you get over here is a strength node, that boosts it considerably. I've done quite a few tests where I swapped out the colors here. Instead of using Iron Will, I'd use, Controlled Destruction here. I have both of them on this one. So I'd use Controlled Destruction, and the damage just does not compare to having just Iron Will even. So I created this little setup here. I'll go over it here in a second. I still have the breach music. Oh yeah, breach music. And generally, I just prefer this side. Like I said, you could follow the guide that I'm going to ping. That's basically what I was looking at when I decided to try and make this type of build as well. And I just chose a different path. It's just a different way of playing. Theirs can do their thing, mine can do my thing. It's, you know, it's interchangeable. You can use whatever one you want. So, back to the gear though. So generally you'll want to be using Cyclone. It hits a lot, and it hits pretty fast, and it's a really good way to trigger Hitless in order to get that damage hitting you. So you can either have this on a 6-link, or what was done is a 4-link here, because the blade itself gives you blood magic. So included in that I have the Leap Slam and faster attacks as my mobility, just in case I need to catch up to him, and like when Esh teleports away, for example. If I wasn't in the middle of a cyclone, I'd be able to just Leap Slam over to him and start again. It's still super dangerous though, because you kill yourself, and you don't have any regen, so you have to pop potions. Now, while I was leveling, I was lucky enough to get an Essence Worm, so that allowed me to open up. You'd want to always be using Hatred, but this allowed me to put Hatred in here and have a Herald of Ash as well slotted. So that gives me the access to a Blasphemy setup, Hatred, and Herald of Ash, which is very, very strong. The cast when damage setups here. These, you just use spells, essentially. The original build used Shock Nova and Ice Nova, I believe, and it had a 6-link here, and basically you'd have to take your Leap Slam faster attacks and have it linked in with a utility. So they used 2 utility 4-links, and then the rest were damage. So this opens up, having it like this, it opens up a second or third cast when damage taken setup. So I have a cast when damage taken Fireball, Firestorm. I don't even know if this is any good, to be honest. I'm still testing just so many things. I've tested with Arc, I've tested with, right now I'm testing with Flame Surge up on this one, I believe, yeah. For some single target stuff, because Herald of Ash tends to ignite quite a bit for me. So I have this one with Fireball, Firestorm, and that Iron Will. Just to show this Fireball here. So if I take out this Iron Will, that Fireball does 3.7. Adding the Iron Will pretty much gives you an extra 1100 to the average damage there, which is quite a bit rather than the Controlled Destruction. Like 43% is okay. That's not bad. It reduces your critical strike chance, and you don't use what's the thing? Resolute Technique. So you can technically crit, but it's probably not going to happen. But generally, you just get so much more out of the Iron Will. You get the 34% flat, and then the added from strength, which is really, really nice. Utilities is Blasphemy Poacher's Mark. So this is a kind of health gain on hit, as well as gives you frenzy charges on kill, and it makes it so you don't need Resolute Technique, because it makes enemies have less evasion, which is also very, very nice. And gives you that mana sustain that you desperately require when you're running this many auras. Herald of Ash, as I was saying, and a Summoned Flaming Golem. I'm kind of thinking of just getting rid of this. It dies so instantly in things, and you don't, if you have all your ores up, you don't even have enough mana to recover the Flame Golem itself. So I'm trying to think of something I can throw in there, but I'm not entirely sure yet, but whatever. On the main setup, cast when damage taken, Iron Will, of course, Control Destruction to make them spawn, or make them a bit stronger. And 3 kind of range, pseudo-range spells in order to make sure that you can keep that sustain going. So Glacial Cascade, Bladefall, and Ethereal Knives all will trigger on this bigger damage one, so that it'll hit basically everything that's nearby me. And if I accidentally trigger it like that, you can see all of the spells go flying off, and it can hit targets in the next pack as well to help bring that sustain as well. So that's very, very nice. This one, cast when damage taken, Iron Will, Vortex, and Flame Surge. Now Flame Surge, I'm not 100% sure if it's really working or not, because like I said, you have to have the enemy ignited in order for this to be really, really helpful. But it worked pretty well for me, so I'm just sticking with this stuff right now. But yeah, this is generally just a quick overview of just a build where you will hurt yourself in order to kill enemies, in order to not kill yourself. It's very strange. And right after I finish this explanation, I'll put up some more footage of doing another map, maybe like a higher tier map or something, and it'll just maybe not, but yeah, that's a quick overview of this build. If you like it, check out the description and the link below to the original that I kind of followed, and I'll see you guys next time.